This is day 715 of the Arukh HaShulchan Yomi. If the sponsor come to share more of the Arukh HaShulchan Yomi, please come me directly. We very greatly appreciate it. Today we're doing Siman Tov Mem Vav Sif Talid to Tov Mem Vav Yud Aleph. Dalit Mavur the deeper Torah Mishum Deinu Yachol Yisarv Yal to the Shalavaro. Since you can't burn chametz hayot, you can't destroy it. So she tells you pas krabila. That's why according to his opinion, they pass krabila the bir chametz al streifa. Only bir chametz which works is streifa burning. Much goes up to top of May. Rabbanan and Pharaoh of Israel Rucham Atil Yam. Rabbanan you can pulverize it and scatter it to the wind or toss it to the sea. Hayot Bar Biyantiv. She have to destroy Yantiv as well. Or even called Rashi, after 6 hours, you can destroy chametz any way you want. So, clearly, the Torah bears Rabbeinu Tam, the Torah holds Rabbeinu Tam, the Adarab on the contrary. After 6 hours, you specifically have to burn it. Kambursham. I'm not even Rambam Peragimel in Chesla Mashmakay. There's not Sipto that way. Because of the Fichach in Lo Bitel Konam Sheish, the Sheish is Malamotzel Chametz. He writes that if you were not about to before 6 hours, and after 6 hours you found chametz or isa over by Yirah v'chulei, you transgress by Yirah v'chayav levaro. You have to eradicate it. Anytime you find it. And if you found it, you put a vessel over it until the evening, and then you destroy it. So there's the question. Wait a minute. It's like you don't have to specifically burn it. Which causes him to made. It goes to Osalavar, well, Yantav yet. It says now to do beer on Yantav. You Meyer below Bittel. He said, well, you didn't do Bittel. Come for Midvar, she's screaming low Bittel. As you can at the beginning of his word, the statement, he said even low Bittel. It ain't because of Magam Mishnah Shom. So Tam Lama but Bazoi, that's the case. Why don't you do beer on Yantav? Because of time I saw people wrote the reason Shum Muktzah. Shows the title. The muktzah, the chametz is muktzah. There's no use. It's also. So every now allowed to carry it. It's a taz among Abram. I'll be the muktzah lead rabbanon, even though muktzah is the rabbanon. Okay, which is and the chara to fulfill the mitzvah of bir chametz the raisa, and to avoid that, I should say by the raisa more accurately, we should be able to move the chametz. Came in the sheva tasasu. Rabbanon said no, refrain, because rabbanon can also think Sheba Tasa. And you don't transgress by Ra, came the honor to the country Rabbanan, since it's not your fault, it's Rabbanan's fault. They're the ones who didn't let you do it. Or perhaps he didn't allow carrying it because it's not at the same moment. By the time he carries the milk, it's not your time to destroy it. Motamor, this is astonishing. Yes, it's true. Found several cases in which Chachamim said you have to still fulfill our regulation. And this is because of a concern they might come to the Torah prohibition. Like Shofar and Luban Shabbos Shema, because it might come to carry 4 Amos and Rishus Rabin. And therefore he said don't do Shofar Lulav on Shabbos of Yontif. That's the kind of they didn't want you to do it's a Toraisa. But they might come to but for an Issa Rabbanon Muktzeh, only at that account they should allow you to violate Bayra. It's astonishing to say this. The Gamet Shemitah, and also the other reason given, because it's not at the same time. Lomatina Zerak Basei Dochalos say. That only require that it be at the same time, simultaneously, when you're saying a mitzvah saseh pushes off a mitzvah slow saseh. It doesn't apply to Isser Muktzah. It seems more probable to say, even when you pulverize and scatter to the wind, there's something akin to this Daraisa. Fire came into Tzorech Lachila. If you pulverize it and you don't need to eat it, after Chaim Shum Tochen. You see, because of the malach of grinding, and it's not ochel nefesh, right? The Zohar have a gangen have malacha, and the scatter also is one of the avos malachos. It's not ochel nefesh. Tiliam Ganki, boy, Piro, Bechametz Kasha, Kmosh Tabasin Tav Maneg. If you guys in the sea, if it's hard chametz, you have to pulverize it. Umotze chametz is stomach is yabesh and the default assumption that chametz is going to be tough, hard, dry, and it's going to require pulverization. The isa is chamtzav yontav. If you have a dough which became chametz and yontav, have bito kodim sheish. Even did bittul before 6 hours. Of course, that was before it came chametz. Lo mahani law, it doesn't work with this dough which came chametz on Pesach. So I said, "B'chal bittul was including the bittul ba'ira pashutu ba'ira," and that's obvious. It says, "Brackets gamel damil shofar shu b'bittul asay." This is really going back earlier in the sif, I guess. That here, it's not like it couldn't be drawing an analogy to shofar anyway, where we tell you not to do an asay v'lo ba'ira shofar karega as opposed to ba'ira, which is a constant prohibition which you violate. Vav, O Kosvu Atam, they also wrote a reason. The Vikrias Kli ain't over by Ra. That if you put a vessel on it, you don't violate by Ra. Peter Brand Tesis, the Masha Chametz Daito Baro, the based on Tesis who says that somebody who holds on to his Chametz, but he has in mind to destroy it, ain't over by Ra. It's violate by Ra. Shumla by Ra, Avenita Class A. The lava by Ra will be corrected, literally snapped off by the mitzvah say which he does. That's the Magen Avraham. Piyav Shamakin, or Shulchan rejects the Magen Avraham. The Rama Olos Fili by Ra Avenita Class A. Does not hold Bali Ra is fixed by an assay. You were over there as long as you had it. Then you kind of the mitzvah of removing it, but it doesn't fix the Avera. And the evidence for that is meaning Mechai Malchus or Kanachana B'chametz Pesach. He administers Malchus to somebody who buys chametz on Pesach. Berak Aleph. As some great authorities wrote there, so therefore, clearly, if it's Amri Takraseh, you can always fix it by destroying it, and we didn't be located because it's being acquired chametz. Achvim Hashem Stim Tov Lamanam Sif Tes Yeshon Gam Ram Sif Davi Nita Klasei Ayin Sham. Also Ram also admits Lamanit Klasei. Zai by day in the hoodie. By a non-Jew, Yeshon Mishtato Tzib being based on those who allow to say you can take it out for Yontif. Even Yontif, actually be the chametz, even you would nullify the chametz. So they came to the Rabbana and Tzorech L'Bar, since although you did bittul, Rabbana you still have to destroy the chametz. I say the Tashbisu. The Rabbanan, let's just say of Tashbisu, which is although it's the Rabbanan, it comes of Dakish Shvus Lamilay Yudi, and it pushes aside and permits the rabbinic prohibition of telling a non-Jew to take it out and destroy it. A number of times based on Dain Lokima, I say the Rabbanan mean Tashbisu. The thing is that I say of the mitzvah Rabbanan after Bittul of Tashbisu, it's not fulfilled just by taking it out of the house. And that but still, to tell the non-Jew to throw into the river, mutter would be mitzvah to have a shus mitzvah. Saying non-Jew to do a drabanan, presumably to carry it to the river, so it's telling a non-Jew to do a drabanan. That's mutter makom mitzvah. I was rosel rock, but to scatter to the wind. Carbus the rice that's close to the rice because of the Amlach of Zara. Near the Gamzorga base of Kitim Mutai Deyanudi, tossing into the outhouse is permitted by a non-Jew. Mishnah says, nevertheless, it's the minhag olam is although this could be permitted, is not to toss it into the sea or into an outhouse by a non-Jew. No matter what, we put it on in a vessel until Chol HaMoed. I'm not sure why. The minhag is to destroy it himself, not to tell going to do it. To toss it into a river, or to a disgusting place. Don't even find a kernel of wheat in your cooked dish. Take out the entire cooked dish, toss it into a disgusting place. This will be clarified later on as well. It says, The place there's no minute a sheba tasa adif, which I assume means, like Mishnah Berurah said, you have to put it on the vessel until after Shabbos, or after Yom Tov is over. Mishnah Berurah writes, according to many poskim, putting on a vessel is only good enough when you did bittul. But you weren't mevatel, you're allowed to carry it and toss it into a river, or to an outhouse, or to pulverize it and scatter it to the wind. And even to burn it on Yom Tov, but even mutter according to several poskim. And Achronim said, and then he repeats, the Achronim said the minig is nevertheless to put on in a keli. However, in a place where they do actually destroy it on Pesach, on Yom Tov, so in some way, shape, or form, then that's the minhag. It's okay. They should not cancel their minhag. The Mishnah Berurah also says the Tavshil. He says again, according to his shita, that you don't destroy the Yom Tov, but you put a keli over it, and even by a non-Jew, you don't destroy it again because he has his minhag, which Arukh HaShulchan does not reference. Ches hamotzi chametz the base of chomoid. So he finds chametz the house on chomoid. Take me am chayav l'otzi levaro. Then he is immediately take out. Immediately has to take out and destroy. If you real rega achas, don't leave it even 1 minute. After bittul, even though you already did bittul. Father is something that bittul bir chametz elbet sreifa. That's why because those hold that bir chametz is only valid with burning. Those shittas beitam sim tof memei. According to Shid Rabbeinu Tam, that at least after this Mat Isra, that's the only way to do it. Because of a sorrowful, you have to burn it. Some say you have to make a bracha on bir chametz. Yeshua Steinman said that those are not sure about that. Some see him it's a suffix where to make a bracha, you don't make a bracha. By bracha shbirach, Yudal Kaya Kohen Meir Pesach, he wrote there. And anyway, the bracha Meir Yudal goes on all the days of Pesach as well. Ayin Sham. I feel mashu chometz, and chometz even a slight amount of chometz. You have to take it out and destroy it. Meir Pesach achar so the Meir Pesach after night noon. I'll be on the bachas mikazayis. And you have to be says the kazayis where there's no bayrod. Pshita shkeva love kliyat erev. Obviously you put it on a vessel until nightfall. Chem Shabbos erev Pesach achar chamishis, and also Shabbos erev Pesach after the 5th hour. Yeshanam when because I'm doing it on Shabbos. Those who say in the 5th hour we're not allowed to eat it, also but tilty also not carry it. So you see case in the Rambam, Shekasa Per Gimel, Halacha Gimel, Shekasa Be'er Pesach B'Shabbos, Achar Arba Shos Koivin Lo Sakeli. So an Erev Shabbos, and Pesach comes out on Shabbos, and Erev Pesach comes out on Shabbos, after the 4th hour is over, at the time of Achila is over, you put it on top of a vessel, Ein Shom. Tzarechim, not clear to Arukh HaShulchan. Mikar Midbeil Shis Lavo B'Shabbos. Why is there then an animal which became an avail on Shabbos? The mutzah died. The mutzah totally mination of the klavim. You carry because it's suitable for dogs. V'chinami here to the Mishah Chamishis, mutzah by no, you're allowed to have benefit of it. So the should be allowed to carry it. So I have to say it's a case where there's nobody to whom to give it right now. The Rambam is not talking about specifically this hour. Just generically, after 4 hours you put on it a keli, but if you have somebody to give it during the 5th hour, the gam came with the top, so you're also allowed to move it and take it out. Test those say the Yom Tov Sheni Dinukul Chamoyli in terms of bir chametz. Yom Tov Sheni has the law of Cholamayit, and you would do the bir on Yom Tov Sheni. The came Yom Tov Sheni Rabbanon, since Yom Tov Sheni Rabbanon, material related to Alta Muksavara, allowed to carry Muksa and to destroy it. Become nevertheless ain't allowed to the surface. You can't allow burning it. Without it, no, it's not to toss into the river. Africa, she's Rabbeinu Tam Seifa. Rabbeinu Tam says you have to burn it. No Chalas Moshe does Rashi. Klein the Shid Rashi Lachas Mani Surash, Basas Chol Davar. That becomes also destroyed in any way, shape, or form. Koshken the Ramagam, certainly it's true according to the Ramagam, the Inser Chalom Sreiva Dafka. Never specifically have to burn it. Koshken Samdu. Ufimach Kasam the Gam Bepir was Zorah Yesh Chashash Torah. But according to that which we wrote, that when you pulverize it or scatter it, it's there, and or scatter it, there is a potential Torah prohibition. That's what I basically say. Toss it to the outhouse. The Milashon Atum, remember, the Hedge of the Rakol Moidi Bar. The Torah, it's clear he has only a Kol Moidi could do this. Another Enchleb Rishon Shem Beyond, there's no difference between Yad Rishon and Sheni. Chemashal Shas, that seems the indication of the Gemara. Yeshim Dal Akram, Shapaskan Alocha, and some great poskim, if they Chok Yaakov Yo Rabba, Paskan with Alocha. The Mishnah Bura says, Alocha, Achrayim concluded that if you remember Vatli Chometz, Yontav Sheni is like Yontav Rishon no matter what. However, if you have the comments in a manner that, for according to everybody, going to be violated by Iroh, I guess, because it's you weren't Mavato, you can rely on carrying the chametz yourself to toss it into the sea or the Beis Hakisei, I guess, on Yom Tov Sheni, but not to burn it. You had Isa B'Yushalmi. It says in Yerushalmi that a gago shall enter Yehudi. Some of the gagos, so you have two roofs, one of Jew, one of non-Jew, next to each other. It's called chametz gago shel Yehudi, the gago Yisrael. Chametz rolled from the roof of the non-Jew to the roof of the Jew. I raise the door for a bekona. You can push it off with a stick. Don't touch it directly. It'll be imay Shabbos or Yontif, but then if it's Shabbos, you put a vessel over it. Come on, I feel b'chomoy is late, not be other. In b'chomoy, you're not supposed to take the chametz directly in your hand. El dochla kind of push it with a stick. I was so concerned they might come to eat from it. We say, don't touch it. It's a new type of muktzah. Chametz on Pesach, even a chomoy. No. Sorry, this is on Yotzif. No, this is a chomoy, right? But he says, interesting. But this is only because somebody else's chametz. It's the guy's chametz. So if it's your chametz, then you would actually pick it up and destroy it. But this is not comparable. Because where you pick it up, because it's your own chametz, you shouldn't come and choice it would be your, since you're trying to destroy it, lost and back not come to eat it. Hashem chametz shelo. The chametz is not his. You can't destroy the guy's chametz unilaterally. He has to give it back. You're not going to destroy it because we're concerned. I and Yom Kippur allowed to take food in your hand. Not going to see might come to eat it. Base. Like we wrote previously, the law of Yom Kippur is much greater. Now, so you're going to forget today's Yom Kippur. It's more possible to forget that it's Pesach than Yom Kippur. These are my according to this we learned. Shasuli kach bildo, but Pesach, now take into your hand a Pesach, chametz and Yehudi, chametz of a non-Jew. A royal chametz of chov, we see chametz in the street, lo yira bo mitam zeh. Don't touch it for the same reason. Shabbos Yom Tov, she's gago, Shabbos Yom Tov, when it rolled onto your roof, kovel keli, you put on a vessel, also b'tiltu after they corner, shul muktzeh, because you can't carry it because it's muktzeh, even by pushing it. Normally we allow pushing muktzeh like that. To push things by a stick. That's all not always true. We were saying from the side for the purpose of the davar asur is also ayin sham. So therefore, we move it here for the purpose of the chametz, and the chametz is also. So everyone will be allowed to move it by a stick on Shabbos or Yom Tov, only on Chol Hamoed. You have here barely borrow. Says Arukh HaShulchan, it's clear to me. The deans are eno ela begagin is only true by roofs shalohem shloim ushupoim, which are not on a slope. In which time shalgagos they would use the roofs. Avogagin shalom by our roofs. I'm not concerned, and you shouldn't touch it all because it's just going to slide off. Only if it's a chatzar yard. Which is adjacent to the yard of non-Jew, a base of some of the base of the house adjacent to the house of non-Jew, chametz roll from one to the other, then yaseh commotion is bar. You should do according to what we explained. And normally we would stop here because this is the end of the day's quota, but your base is last sif in the simon, so let's do your base. Matzah pasta pesa base. They found bread in your house of base that pesa. They don't know if it's matzah chametz. Ashkenazim, that's a really difficult thing to contemplate, but I guess since nowadays we have a lot of matzah which is made as chametz, so it's not so difficult. And that's what he says. It says chametz to do the matzah, chametz wafers, which are look like matzah. Mutar afilu achila. Assume that it's matzah. You're allowed to even eat it. You go after what was the last substance most likely to be here. Klomar the stam tables which mishtamshim b'hem ochlim. Rosh explains most boxes in which we store food. Nothing we should take the oldest first. They should say so soon become moldy. Koshken mistama but yudal. So here we assume you checked on yudal. By the basri, therefore this must be later on. Umatzah and it's matzah. Does have a kivadre? It's like a for sure thing. I feel nimsa beguma if it's a nook or cranny, mutter. It's mutter devade kabak yochaso. We assume it's certainly checked properly. Pasum upasharbe. If the bread is very moldy, so moldy it couldn't come so moldy during the days of Pesach. Chametz, that's having chametz. But for enough days elapsed from the beginning of Pesach that we could have come moldy in that time. If by him they have a minute even to bake on Pesach a hot bread every day, then we can begin and say this is from the first days. I feel mupa sharba even if it's very moldy. So until the mar, we assume the chol yom of a pascham. Each day you bake the hot bread, hot matzah, nothing to love, and therefore you put it on top of the old one. That's why it got moldy quicker. And it's not astonishing, although you might think it is, that by Kore's prohibition we rely on this kind of assumption. Because this is like a for sure thing. Every Jewish person checks its comments before Pesach. Pashut lo ma'ir shnimtza Pesach karka is a makom. It's clear to those who are not there found in your house, on the ground, or somewhere else. It's everybody else. Because it might be different before Pesach. Ma'ir shnimtza b'teva shemash b'ochel. You found it in the box in which you store food. Let's say lo shardin zeh. But he says it's not relevant. This halacha. It's saying tape nikar mechametz matzah. My house it's very clear. Lives mechametz matzah. Lo shon shipo me'olam shipo savei chatichas pas in mechametz matzah. We never heard the savei be whether something is actually chametz or matzah. But that is Arukh HaShulchan's time. Today, again, as I said, they bake chametz matzah year round. This halacha is very relevant. Mishul writes that according to Rabbeinu Chanel says that all of this leniency, which Arukh HaShulchan says so strenuously is applicable, it's way after Pesach. But during Pesach, when there's kares, we will not be mekel. And he says, the Maisa, you should not be mekel during Pesach, which is a very, very strong disagreement with the Arukh HaShulchan.